Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Bonanza Kickoff Show, brought to you on both Facebook and YouTube. 7 games on the slate today as we are looking to build on my 7-3 bowl record. Georgia Tech winning the Gasparilla Bowl last night, rallying from 2 touchdowns down and winning it going away 30-17 over UCF. As I said, today we got 7 games on the slate. We're going to start things off. Here's hoping we don't drop any lanyards. You know, we've already went through a rehearsal where I screwed up on both the lanyards and saying that it was New Year's Eve and not Christmas Eve. It's been a long year, but it's been so fun. Anyway, the Camellia Bowl will kick things off with Arkansas State and Northern Illinois. Both are 6-6 going into this. There's only one player I know out of this whole game, just one. And this is where I'm going to have to do my due diligence, as I always try to. Wow. Maybe there's a lot more to this story than I thought. Northern Illinois has not won a bowl game since ending the 2011 season. So, okay, maybe there's 2 things to hang my hat on, or put my lanyard on. The other is quarterback Rocky Lombardi. And I'm trying to remember if, as I'm scrolling through this, if he's even on here. Yeah, Rocky Lombardi. We've uncovered a mystery. He played formerly at Michigan State, which makes this pick a lot easier. I knew he played for a Big Ten school, but I just couldn't remember where he played at. Now that we've uncovered that mystery and solved it, not to mention the fact we get an added bonus that Northern Illinois hasn't won a bowl game since 2011. No time like the present to get it done today. Northern Illinois and Arkansas State taking the Huskies. So now we shift gears and go to the Birmingham Bowl, which finds Troy playing Duke. And I got to tell you something. There is no way in the world that Troy is losing this. Not in the least. 2 things to consider. Mike Elko has left for Texas A&M. Riley Leonard, the do-everything quarterback for Duke, went through the transfer portal. He's going to Notre Dame, I do believe. So that means open season for the Troy Trojans. So I'm going to go with Troy. Even though the line has Duke by a touchdown, I can't for the life of me, I don't know if that's the what I'm actually reading, comprehensively speaking, but I'm taking Troy. I am going to take Troy. Nothing further on that one. Now we get to some of the more interesting selections of the day. James Madison against Air Force. And that one there, I do believe, if I can just get my fingers to cooperate, that would be your Armed Forces Bowl matchup, and it would be easy for me. It would be easy for me to take Air Force, just basing it solely on the wordplay aspects of it. Not to mention the fact that you're playing in a bowl game, much like the Military Bowl, where you have to have at least one service academy represented, whether it be Army, Navy, or Air Force. But this year, it's all about J-Mad, and they are mad that they were put through the ringer, only to come out on the other side and to play in a bowl game for the first time ever. If it can work for Jacksonville State as it was last weekend, it's working for James Madison today. Gonna take James Madison to beat Air Force in the Armed Forces Bowl. That now brings us to probably the one game that I will watch more than any other this afternoon. And that would be the Idaho Potato Bowl, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, played on the blue turf at Albertson Stadium in Boise, Idaho. I hope the weather's glorious up there. I really do. I don't care if it's sunny. I don't care if it's cloudy. I don't care if it's snowing. You got Georgia State playing Utah State. Georgia State's blue helmets should blend perfectly with that blue turf. It'll make it very difficult for Utah State to distinguish between moving targets in a field that they're playing on. But Utah State knows Boise State's turf very well. And with that, I'm just basing it solely, more so, I think, on not so much on bowl experience per se, but if there's anything that I can hang my hat on with Boise State, it's the fact that, or not Boise State, with Utah State, it's Levi Williams. He's the backup quarterback for Utah State. And last year at this time, he took Wyoming to a 52-38 win over Kent State in the very same bowl game. So if familiarity is the operative theme of the day, well, you just got it right there. So we're taking Utah State over Georgia State, and I had no prior clue of that until now. This next one's going to be an easy one. A couple more 6-6 teams. South Alabama's playing Eastern Michigan. And this is maybe the easiest pick of the day at the 68 Ventures Bowl. What happened to the other 67? Sure it's 68? I was going to mention a 69 reference, but I'm not going to. I would rather just go on record and saying, you know what? You're playing on South Alabama's home turf. They are. It's like Miami in the old Orange Bowl. You're playing on basically their stadium. Watch the game. Check out the end zones. It's the same end zones they scored touchdowns on all season long. Dare I say it, I'm going to take South Alabama to, instead of 68ing Eastern Michigan, more like 86th. So, South Alabama should win that one. Which now brings us to the last of the bowl games. Oh, there is another one, yeah. The Hawaii Bowl tonight, for all of you nocturnals, those of you staying up past midnight. The first one that got inked before all the bowls were announced. Coastal Carolina and San Jose State in the Hawaii Bowl. You know the story about San Jose State. Started out 1-5, won 6 straight just to get to this spot. And tonight, the journey will be complete. I'm going to go with San Jose State over Coastal in the Hawaii Bowl. And while I take these lanyards off, we do have one more selection to make. And that's tonight's other matchup. The Las Vegas Bowl, Utah and Northwestern. I am so thrilled that when the beginning of the year started, it was not a great time to be had as a Northwestern fan. You know the story about Northwestern. It's already had its happy ending, but why settle for just getting to a bowl game? You're going up against a very good, very tough Utah team. They always are. They always are. I don't care what the record is. It's a team that you can't take lightly anyway. So I'm going to take a page out of Al Davis's playbook. I never thought I would use an Al Davis reference for something like this. But in the case of Northwestern, 3 things that you need to do. Number 1, play for yourselves. Number 2, play for your head coach. And number 3, I love you. Just win, baby. There was a couple things I left behind after disposing a lot of my Northwestern stuff after Pat Fitzgerald was fired as head coach of Northwestern. The hat stayed behind, and I want to think maybe one of my beanies. So, anyway, a complete wrap-up of the picks today. Let's get to them one more time. Camellia Bowl, Northern Illinois over Arkansas State. Troy over Duke in the Birmingham Bowl. James Madison over Air Force in the Armed Forces Bowl. Utah State over Georgia State in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. South Alabama over Eastern Michigan in the 68 Ventures Bowl. San Jose State over Coastal Carolina in the Hawaii Bowl, and Northwestern over Utah in the Las Vegas Bowl. Well, folks, that's going to do it for this edition of the Bowl Bonanza Kickoff Show. We will be back the day after Christmas for more bowl game picks, but for right now, have yourselves a wonderful Christmas and enjoy the college football today. BR signing off for the Bowl Bonanza Kickoff Show.